Gurubhyo Namah.
Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 7, Jnana-Vijnana Yoga, Shloka 30. Sathi bhutadi devam mam sathi yajnam cha ye vidu prayana kale picha mam te viduryukta chetasa. Who identifies me with the manner of Adhibhuta, Adhidevam and Adhiyajna, even at the time of death, with an affirmed mind in me, realizes me. The realization of the Supreme will be happening for an individual through time. Transformation will be happening. The transformation will be happening towards the realization of the Supreme. The Adhibhuta, Adhidevam and Adhiyajna, these will be explained in the coming slokas. Each and everything that happens for a reason. A history is associated with everything that happens to us. That history is created by ourselves only. For the births to come, the content of the history then is created now. For this understanding to get realized, the past memory needs to be coming within us. For that to happen within us, the journey with Guru is the only way. For the same to happen, real sacrifice and innocence within us should be present. The self needs to be completely devoted towards the Supreme during our entire journey of this life. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 8, AKSHARABRAHMA Yoga, Shloka 1. Arjuna Uvacha. Kim tat brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adhibhutam cha kim proktam adhidevam kim uchyate. Arjuna told, O Purushottama, the greatest of the Purushas, what is that Brahman? What is Adhyatmam? What is Karmam? What is known to be Adhibhutam and what is known to be Adhidevam? The questions begins to generate within Arjuna. The greatest of the questions is being asked here about the Brahman. Brahman is undefinable, the absolute, ever existing. The only existing reality or the truth is Brahman. We all are that Brahman itself, but that realization or identification will only happen when we reach that stage. When the changes happen within the self, questions begins to come. Questions are an answer to something. The answer to where we stand comes out as questions. The questions will be coming from an individual based on until where they have reached. Here, based on the state in which Arjuna had reached, these questions are being put forward. Shloka 2. Adhiyajna katham kotra dehe asmin madhusudana prayana kale cha katham jnyeyo asya niyatatmabhi. O Bhagavan Shri Krishna, who is the Adhiyajna residing in this body? How will it be on the time of death by the Nitya Chittas? How will you be known? The same continuation of what had been discussed just before is coming here too. The relational interaction between the subject and the object by which different absolutist values emerge can be called as Adhiyajna. The us, when the radiance within us will be going, the existence of us, even though existing in the absolute manner, comes under question. Shloka 3. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatmamuchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaro Visarga Karma Samnita. Shri Bhagavan told, the one which is Anashvara or never destroyable and the one which is ultimate is Brahman. The expression of Brahman form of life is Adhyatma. The Yagadis of the nature of Vedas, which is the reason behind the generation and existence of Jivajala, is known to be Karma. The condition of Brahman cannot be explained. The whole can be called Brahman. We feel that we exist is due to the ignorance within us. Until one gets experienced within, one will not be able to realize the same. That experience should be generated from within. When we isolate ourselves from that Brahman, we feel the existence of the individual. From that level of the Supreme, when one is ignorant, we feel like the individual exists. If we were able to come to a situation where we see ourselves as the complete Brahman, at that moment the realization had happened. Shloka 4. Adhibhutam ksharo bhava purushascha-adhidevatam adhiyajñohamevatra dehe dehabhritamvara. O Arjuna, the one which are destructible comes under Adhibhuta. Adhidevatam is the Virat Purusha. I, the one which is existing inside of this body, which exists in the inner, is known as Adhyajna. The things that are seen will be of the nature of Nashwara, or the one which is undergoing destruction, comes under the Adhibhuta. The universe as a whole and the individual parts and beings of it can be called as Adhibhuta. For the seen, the destruction is sure. Adhidevam is the Virat Purusha, which is the basis of the astral world, the world beyond the physical world. The Adhyajna is the Supreme itself. The inner life force existing everywhere is the Adhyajna. Shloka 5. Andakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalebaram yaprayati samadbhavam yadi nastyatra samshaya. Who at the time of death, in the remembrance of me, leave the body, he will be reaching or attaining me. The same is of no doubt. Why it is being said true knowledge is really important is that it decides our path. Whatever we do in the material world, even the things happening in the material world, will be the result of interaction that we had done in the previous births. It is not just a previous birth. Since the beginning of our journey, through what all we came across, the content of the same will transform our path. Hence, when the true knowledge is known, we will be having the vision to focus on the right and wrong. Even though there is no right or wrong when the Supreme is considered, but when the reality is being considered, the ones which is in line with the Supreme is the right. Against that realization, what all we do comes under wrong. It is being said here that at that moment of our death, in what manners we are existing, in the same we will be existing. It is not that at that very moment of our death, if we see the Absolute or remember the Absolute, we will be reaching towards the same. Hence, one reaches towards a level where one will be able to attain that Supreme while leaving the body will be explained now. Shloka 6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyande kalebaram tam tamevaiti kaundeya sada tat bhava bhavita. O Kunti Putra, the son of Kunti, at the time of death, remembering which bhava one leaves the body, since he in his entire lifetime remained in that bhava, will be attaining the same bhava itself. Just before we said, one will be attaining the Supreme if at that time of leaving this body, if one remembers that Supreme. But for that remembrance of that Supreme to happen at the time of death, or at the time of leaving this body, throughout his life, he needs to be doing and moving in the manner of Supreme. In what we were throughout our life, that will be projected towards the end. Hence, whether to attain the Supreme or to come again in the form and do the journey all depends on our actions. Hence, this path is not an easy way. The highest of the toughness are there in these ways of supreme realization. But why the same had become tough is that we forgot these realities and are still going behind the material world, which will not bring any gains. In our journey or display of life, the trap is actually the material world. Easily, we can get deviated from the truth and attached to the Maya out there. Shloka 7. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhya mayarpida mano buddhir mame vaishyasya samshaya. Hence, always remember me. Do the battle too. You who have dedicated the mind and intellect in me will be attaining me itself. The same is of no doubt. Hence, as a continuation throughout, as is being said here, throughout our journey, we should always be focusing on that Supreme. Each and every moment, in each and every action that we do, we should be always in that pursuit to realize that truth or reality. We should devote ourselves completely into it, and then only we will be able to satisfy the least. There are no particular actions, ways to know that supreme truth or the absolute. Only with Guru, it is only possible for us to get into the path. The refuge in Guru is the only way we can overcome this world of Maya or illusion. Our path to realization is based on the compassion of Guru, the Supreme. Shloka 8. Abhyasa yoga yuktena cetasa nanya paramam purusham divyam yadi parthanu chindayan. O Partha, without thinking about anything, with a focused mind, came out of practice, who is always remembering that divine Paramapurusha, he will attain that Paramapurusha itself. When one moves in the manner explained before, focusing each and everything on the basis of the Supreme, we will automatically get guided towards the yajna manner of the Absolute. We become part of that journey, and when with a focused mind in Supreme, we move doing everything that comes before with the guidance or journey along with Guru, we will be reaching that Guru, Supreme itself. When in Guru we move, we will be attaining that ultimate level of the Absolute. The Absolute and Guru is one. To that one, we will also get merged. Further discussion on the same will be continued.